So glad to have all of you come and join us. Are we on now? Okay, thank you. This is a meeting of Northampton County Board of Commissioners. Again, this is the meeting, the official meeting of Northampton County for government. And we desire tonight to take care of that business. Tonight, we have decided that on the first Monday, this is not Monday because of the holiday, we would have this time to look at our agenda and have discussion. And we will vote on it in our next meeting. Am I right, Commissioner?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So again, thank you all for coming and joining in with us. We will have several discussions tonight. And of course, we invite all of you who desire to say something to inform us about something. Please note that we won't do it tonight, but we'll do it next board meeting. You have an opportunity to speak. And tonight will be good because you'll see the kinds of things that we'll be discussing and have for a vote at our next meeting. You see behind me, of course, is our mission statement. Board members, when we come to this place, we come not for our own self gains, but we come because we're concerned about Northampton County. We're concerned about the citizens in our county. We're concerned about what's going on in our county. To the Board of Commissioners, we know that when we come, we want to do what we know is best for our citizens. Also, you have a vision statement in the back of me, which talk about what we want Northampton County to look like in days to come. Our vision statement certainly says to you that we want to grow. I need to say that again. We want to grow. According to the statistics we got this past week, we're not growing. And we need to look at how we can make Northampton County to grow in population, grow in industry, grow in every respect. And I think it's coming. It's just taking time for it to come. I've heard some great things getting ready to come in this area, and I'm not able to divulge those yet, but there are some opportunities coming. So that is our mission. That is our vision statement. At this time, we're going to ask you, as we call our meeting to order, ask you to please, for a few moments, let's have a moment of silence. Thank you so much. This time, will you please stand with me as we repeat the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, members, tonight you have the agenda that we have. It's a small agenda, not a lot on the agenda. But we know that we're going through the phase now of waiting to see what the state is going to do for Northampton County, waiting to see what they're going to do for us in Washington. The Fed's going to do for us in Washington, D.C. So there's not a lot other than maintaining what we have and improving on what we're doing. So this is the agenda item. Are there any items that you need to add to the agenda? So we'll entertain that right now. Are there any items that we're going to discuss that you don't want us to discuss? Well, Moses, this is your meeting. This is belongs to you. Is there anything that you want to add to the? If not, could I have a motion from you at this time that we'll approve the agenda?
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented for tonight's session.
Second.
Moved and properly second that we approve the agenda for tonight's session. Have any question in the discussion? All in favor, let it known by you sign aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
I, Faulkner.
Aye. Ayes have it. Motion is carried. Thank you so much, board members. At this time, our conflict of interest statement, our vice chair will read that for me, please.
In accordance with the rules of procedures adopted by this board in section 153A44 of the North Carolina North Carolina General Statutes, it is the duty of every member present to vote on all matters coming before the board unless there is a conflict of interest as determined by the board or by law. Does any board member have a conflict of interest with respect to an agenda item coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and the board will consider the matter.
Conflict? No conflict?
No conflict, Broadnax Taylor.
No conflict, Faulkner.
No conflict.
No conflict. Okay, now we're moving to our first item that we shall have on the agenda for discussion, and that is the proposed approval of agreement between Northampton County and Northampton County Schools. Our attorney will go over that for us, and then I'll have some comments, and then we'll open it up for any other board member.
Thank you, Chairman Tyner. Board members, before you is a proposed interlocal agreement that's been presented to this board by the Board of Education. In essence, this is an agreement between the two parties for the purpose of the county reclaiming sales and use taxes for expenditures on the construction of the new school. And as part of that, and a way to make that happen, because school boards cannot reclaim those sales and use tax refunds, the county will enter into a lease agreement for the property with the Board of Education for the subject property where the building is being built, the new school. It is a lease in name only. The school system will remain the sole agent and be in charge of constructing the new facility. It will retain possession of the property. This is just a legal mechanism for the county to recoup some of its expenses for the purchase of the land.
Thank you.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Board members, after talking with the superintendent, this is an opportunity for us to recoup every dime that we paid for the land. They're looking for it to be really about $500,000 more. And we'll get there when we get there. But right now with the $1.5 million that we've given the school to purchase the land, now the taxpayers of Northampton County will not have a dime in that bill, and likewise. It'll take us at least a year and a half to recoup all of those funds back.
I had a question. So we would get the 4% that normally
Yeah.
goes to the state.
Yes, sir.
What
That's
this-
exactly what it said. Yes, sir. That's exactly what it said. That's nothing but for us, another blessing to us again. There you go, county manager, you have expended those funds, and now we have an opportunity to get those funds back in our account. So that's great for the taxpayers, because the way it looked now, with those funds being able to come, we've been able to recoup those funds. Probably look like that we'll have to next year look at how we can save the taxpayers from paying our tax, the tax rate that they're presently paying. No promises, but that's what it looks like that it'll do for.
I have a question. I noticed this is an interlocal agreement as opposed to a contract, or are they the same attorney?
This is a contract.
Both binding?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Okay. Just looking over the agreement on page 3, under reporting, talks about this report will provide such information and will be in such format as the county manager may reasonably request from time to time, meaning that from time to time, a report should be given to the county manager on the progress of the building. And it says from time to time, it is just my feeling that with this big investment that we have made in this building, there needs to be a specific date every other month that they report to our county manager what's going on. Not time to time, but often.
I'm happy to suggest whatever revisions this board
I didn't know.
requires. It does state in the first, at the beginning of that sentence that these reports will be provided at least quarterly.
Quarterly,
So that's 4 times
times.
per year. That's every 3 months.
yes.
But I'm happy to request a revision.
Do you want it more than that?
Just a specific time, if it just says maybe at the end of the month, each month, a given time, as opposed to from time to time. That just does not show me a lot of collaborative accountability.
Attorney, could you look at those two statements? Well, those two statements really don't jive. We need to bring that statement that you just made instead of the statement that she made, make that the statement that you have.
I'm happy to request that change, board members.
That's just me, members of the board. That's just me.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I want you to feel comfortable. I don't want no way. That's just fine. Yes.
We're spending a lot of money in this project.
Yes.
I know, in our business, we sometimes have contracts where the county's getting a reimbursement on their sales tax. And when we turn in our monthly billing for the project, we have to turn in a sales tax report to, in this case, I guess the school board would be managing the project.
Yes.
But whether they give them to us monthly or quarterly or whatever, they should be getting a report monthly with their invoices from the contractor building the school.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know that's reporting schedule as far as what day of the month, but there is a report that the board has to give to the state as it relates to the funds that are expended. Yes.
I will investigate this further and definitely tighten those terms before the next board meeting.
One member,
Thank you.
any others?
The expiration of the lease agreement contract, whatever the term is, it expires at what point?
When the building is completed.
The term. Bear with me.
Trying to find it.
It should be. If it's not, it should be.
See where it was entered into on the agreement side.
We give them that $1. Do we need to put the exit date in there as far as that's concerned?
I will, it's in there. I recall when I read the lease is actually contemplated for a maximum of 10 years, but it will certainly terminate when the construction is completed. And I'll make sure it states that.
Yeah, you need to state
Maybe you can highlight that in the revised version. Sure it's in here, so.
Well, members, anything else you want the attorney to look into? For me, I just got the fact that we're gonna get our money back. That excited me. So you all can go, you all do all the justice. What really excited me, $1.45 million we're gonna get back to our general.
And you all will have some time to digest this before the next meeting. So you can certainly contact me with any additional changes. And I will highlight those for the board and the citizens at our next meeting before a vote is held on the matter.
Page 2 towards the back, I guess it's the next set of pages, the last set of pages. Under 1.16. I think it's the page that you're on there. The date.
Yeah, that's correct. I'd already highlighted that.
And if you find anything else, feel free now to call the attorney. Now, don't wait till the day of our meeting now, please. I mean, that's why we're doing this discussion. You call the attorney. When you find, I called ITIA and let them know. So when we come to that next meeting, we'll have it all. This won't be a discussion. Well, we have it.
That's all I noted.
That's all, okay? All right, have you got those correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, to the public, again, we are just so thankful that we're able to recoup our monies back from the purchase of the land for the school. As all of you know, the state has given them the money to buy to build a new school, but didn't give them the money for the land. And now we have an opportunity to recoup those funds. We want everybody to know that. And make sure we saying it loud and clear that we're recouping our funds for the school. At this time, we'll go to number 5, unless there's something else that you have. Remember, under that one. Number 6 is the library. Please come.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
On behalf of Northampton Memorial Library staff, which I have with me this afternoon, Miss Mildred Gatlin, Miss Meredith Harrell, and Mr. Early Boone, and in our absence today is Miss Cynthia Joyner. But on behalf of Northampton Memorial Library, which is part of the Albemarle Regional Library System, we are here this afternoon for the county manager, assistant county manager, attorney, and all our Northampton County commissioners. We are here to say thank you for all of your continuous support to Northampton Memorial Library. We have been able to do a lot of things this last fiscal year with your support. We continue to do things in our communities with our local partners, such as our school systems and the local government within Northampton County. Over the past fiscal year, we have some of the programs that we have been instrumental in has been like our book bag giveaways, lunch and learn series, which we address issues that impact our community, such as cancer and mental health, national voter registration, Veterans Day celebration, our fall festival, and our back to school bash. We also are out in the community. We don't just stay into the library. We're out into the community doing outreach programs with our local daycares, as well as our school system and our local municipalities in Northampton County. Our summer reading program thing this year was All Together Now. And we had a very successful summer reading program. Our summer reading program, we registered 71 participants to participate in that program. We asked our citizens, our local youth that's involved to return their completed reading logs back, and we had 44 to be returned. Out of those that were returned, we recorded a total of 34,410 minutes that was read this summer from June 13th through August the 2nd with our citizens.
That's great.
Right.
Great. Great.
In our summer reading program, we offered a total of 16 events over that time period. And over that time period, together for those 16 events, we had 569 participants to come each and every week. Again, on behalf of Northampton Memorial Library, Albemarle Regional Library System, we say thank you to our county manager, assistant county manager, and our county commissioners. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We cannot do the job that we do each and every day without your support. Again, thank you.
Well, we don't get many of those. Y'all better cherish that.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you, thank you. Woman, if you have any comments? Any questions you'd like to ask her?
The book festival that's coming up on the 30th.
Yes. We have our first book festival that will be held on September the 30th at 11 o'clock a.m. This is in partnership with Moses Production. Sheila P. Moses, who is a local author from the Northampton County area. We have many well-known guest authors that will be here. We have one that is a local author, Arthur Grant will be here for book signings. Dr. Timothy Tyson will be here as well. So we invite you all to come out to that. Also on October the 7th, which is the first Saturday in October at 11 o'clock a.m., we will have our second annual All Cancer Walk. We know that in the month of October, we do celebrate, or we do bring awareness, I should say, to breast cancer awareness. But we know in our community that our citizens have been impacted by many different types of cancer. So we have an all cancer walk in the partnership with the Jackson Police Department. They are going to escort us on a cancer walk. Then we will come back to the library and we will have a lunch and learn all about cancer. We have special guests coming. We have a nurse out of the Ronald Rapids Hospital. She will be our guest speaker. We have organization out of Rocky Mount called Pretty Essentials that will come and we'll talk with our citizens about, self-care, what it looks like to go through cancer and how you can get different prostheses that you may need. And we will also have Trillium Healthcare Services with us, because when people are diagnosed with cancer, they think of that big word death, and it doesn't mean death, and it affects our citizens mentally. So we will have that information available for them as well. Thank you. Any more questions?
That library doing some stuff.
They are. How many minutes did you give us for reading?
Completed
Mhm.
34,410 minutes. And that was from June 13th through August the 2nd.
Okay.
And we have a really good staff here, and I really do appreciate all of the staff that we have here at Northampton Memorial Library. We work as a team, and that's what makes it successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, we cannot say enough how thankful we are to have you, because you're not all that involved with just library, but you're involved totally. Kind of got a thing going on with the total person. Just want to say thank you. Somebody got to do it, so we're doing it. Thank you so much. At this time, we have a CAFO presentation. Larry Alden.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everybody doing? I have a little scratchy throat, but no, I'm not sick, just losing my voice, which my wife says is a good thing. Larry Baldwin, I am the Waterkeeper Alliance, CAFO, stands for Concentrated Animal Feeding Operation Coordinator in North Carolina. CAFOs, if we can go to the next slide, please, that'd be great. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, now we have to use technology. One of the arrows. Right arrow. Where am I pointing? Okay, it's not doing anything. There it goes. So let's talk about what a CAFO is. It stands for Concentrated Animal Feeding Operation. The way we raise, particularly our swine, poultry, chickens and turkeys, and dairy, is not the way we remember, many of us in this room remember, or how our grandparents raised food in the form of those particular animals. These are done on what we refer to as factory farms. Or the swine, you can have a facility that has 8,000 to 10,000 animals in one area. For poultry, you can have a poultry barn that has 25 to 35,000 chickens in one barn. It's a lot of concentration of raising all these animals. And the problem with that is the amount of waste that is produced in a very concentrated area. And the numbers are staggering as far as what is produced by each one of those particular CAFO types. They are raised in large confinement buildings by the thousands. A lot of issues come about from that. We don't have all night tonight. I think you said I only had 3 hours tonight. Is that correct?
No, 3 minutes.
I was kidding. There's environmental issues, there's environmental justice issues, animal rights issues, quality of meat produced. There's a lot of things involved in this. And I think to some degree, Northampton County, we kind of haven't given you all the full story on what we see as a problem. It really came about recently when Monarch Bioenergy came and had an informational meeting. We'll talk about it in a little bit, that there are more of these CAFOs in Northampton County than probably had been realized. Go to the next. Oh, I'm still supposed to be doing this, right? There we go. This is kind of a, might be a little tough to see, but it's a typical, what we call a swine CAFO. You can see the number of buildings, the 2 water areas. They call them lagoons. They're actually cesspools. Big holes in the ground that hold nothing but hog feces and urine. And then eventually this gets sprayed out onto a field. What we see typically is these facilities, I can't even call them a farm because they're not farms as we know them in the past, are located somewhere near water. As you can see with this one, you've got this the water body to the right of the facility. So anything that goes on that land is being potentially drained into that water body. The contaminants that come from that are pretty significant. The ones that are probably the most understood are the bacteria, E. coli, fecal coliform. But there are also other what they refer to as nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, ammonia, which are all very, very injurious to the environment. What that really goes even further into, though, is what it's doing to the communities, to the folks who have to live near these facilities. And unfortunately, in somebody's grand design, most of these facilities are in areas of communities of color, low income. And I believe it's done purposely because there was an opportunity to, for no better way to put it, target a population, a demographic who does not have the political clout, probably doesn't have the financial resources. So these industries have descended upon particularly Eastern North Carolina when you're looking at the swine and the poultry. Next slide. Why I keep asking him to do that. This is a poultry facility. Right, there are, if I recall, I think this is the one, I think there's 58 buildings here in this photo. Each building holds 35,000 chickens. And here's where the math gets a little bit weird. 58 buildings times 35,000 birds times 4.5 pounds of waste in their lifetime times 6 flocks that go through these facilities. If you start doing the math, we're generating an astronomical amount of waste in a very confined area. It's not economical to transport it very far. So it ends up staying pretty much right in the area where it's produced. So the amount of waste coming from these facilities is just unbelievable. And I know I'm trying to go fairly quick. So this is a photo of a dairy farm. It looks kind of similar to the swine with what they call a lagoon, we call a cesspool. So again, this is further more in the western part of the state, but it's a lot of waste that's being produced that has to go somewhere. It is not treated in any way. A comparison to that would be, let's take the hog farm. If Northampton County wants to build a new town and they're going to build a town for 20,000 people. Okay. Two things you're going to look for first is water and how to get rid of the waste. Those first 2 things you got to think about. You take a hog facility, they have to do none of that. All they do is put it in an open pit in the ground, let it sit there, spray it out onto a field under the pretext of raising crops. And that's all that has to happen to it. Each hog in North Carolina, which there's close to 10 million at any given time, produces 8 to 10 times the amount of waste per day as a human. So if you have a hog farm that has just 1,000 animals, they're producing the same amount of waste as 10,000 people every day. Untreated, basically unregulated. It's a huge problem in North Carolina. And I believe it's a problem here in Northampton County as we look at the waterways and the communities. We saw that from the recent Monarch Biogas meeting when there was a lot of people turned out to that meeting and were very concerned about the impacts from this. The problem is it's too much waste, polluting our waterways. There is some regulation as far as the swine are concerned, but the problem is it's not enforced. The state says we don't have the resources to enforce it. The impacts to the communities are the ones that are to me are the most concerning. We can fix the pollution problem. We can treat the waste. But there's also odor involved. There's groundwater involved. What we're doing to North Carolina as a whole is we are using it as a dumping ground. And unfortunately, again, it's primarily Eastern North Carolina in communities of color. It's wrong. To me, it's almost criminal that somebody is allowed to impact your environment, the place where you live, just to be able to grow an animal that they're going to make a profit from. Need to make it real clear at this point, though. There are many growers. They're not called farmers, they're called growers in North Carolina, obviously. We are not against the growers. We're not even against growing meat. It's the method that we're using. The waste disposal method is archaic, it's out of date, and it does not work. These facilities are supposed to be able to not pollute. They're called non-discharge facilities. I can't tell you how many thousands, tens of thousands of samples that Waterkeeper Alliance has done across the state. And we get fecal bacteria readings that are off the charts. That's your water. That's your water. And it's on the surface water and the groundwater as well. The Monarch Bioenergy, they were here a month and a half, 2 months ago. And I think I talked about this a little bit in the last meeting when I had a few minutes. We need to be careful with this kind of company. They are not coming here to help you. They're not coming here to help Northampton County. This issue of bioenergy or biogas, where you recover the methane gas from the waste and you clean it up and you put it into an existing pipeline, it does nothing for what is still remaining here. The liquid waste is still here, the air pollution, the ground pollution, the surface water pollution, the pollution to the communities still continues. If you've never had the opportunity to drive past one of these facilities, I tell people if you're planning to lose weight, don't do Weight Watchers or Slim Fast. Just drive past a hog farm every day right before you have lunch. The odor is enough to make you sick, to be honest with you. My concern to a large degree is how Monarch has been trying to kind of slide in without anybody knowing what's going on. And it wasn't until this informational meeting that a lot of people got the picture. This is an industry who's trying to make money off of a waste without doing anything to stop the waste. So my purpose of being here tonight, I know I'm going to try to keep it short. I could go on for 3 hours.
I know you could.
Is to kind of start that conversation. Be willing to talk more and more about it as we go along. I think that was my last slide. Oh, well, community concerns, we've talked about a lot, not already. But my concern is that these industries who don't have to be regulated in a very strong way are able to kind of, again, slide in under the radar and get these things entrenched in the communities and the waters continue to be impacted the same way. That's it for me. Thank you all very much for your time. I appreciate it. And hope we'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, at this time, we shall have tax matters. Yes,
Good
ma'am.
evening.
Good evening.
Bring you greetings from the Northampton County Tax Department. I come before you on behalf of our taxpayers to obtain your approval for 12 motor vehicle tax appeals in the amount of $641.59. It has been concluded that the Board of Commissioners has the authority to grant these refunds due to 3 reasons. Those 3 reasons are a tax imposed through clerical error, tax levied for illegal purposes, and an illegal tax.
Thank you. Board members, you have before us tax refund for the names we have listed there. At this time, what is your pleasure? We're gonna do it next. Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna vote on next time. Thank you.
So y'all have a
Ain't got no problem. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry for use of us going through. Have it next week. Will I ever get used to it? Not too old. Okay, now we shall have tax, financial matters.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I will be presenting 3 budget amendments for your consideration on this evening, as well as the monthly financial report for the month of August. I will start with budget amendment number 55. This is on behalf of the Health Department, and this is new funding received from the state for the Communicable Disease Pandemic Recovery Fund in the amount of $63,321 even. Okay. I will next proceed with the budget amendment number 56. This is on behalf of the Department of Social Services. This is also new funding in the amount of $206,683, excuse me. And this is towards the Low Income Household Water Assistance Program. Okay. Give me just one moment. I apologize. I have all of my supporting documentation behind each budget amendment. The last budget amendment that I will be presenting will be budget amendment number 57 on behalf of the Department of Social Services as well. And this is for the Medicaid expansion program. This is actually carryover funds from fiscal year of 22-23 in the amount of $38,136 even. And that concludes the budget amendments that I will be presenting for your consideration on this evening. If you have any questions.
Well, members got a question, that's our finance director. On the budget. I do, county manager, I would like to say, I see some additional monies coming to us. I'm certainly hoping department heads are informing the citizens. I don't know what they're doing to inform them that there are monies available to help them in these, one with water bill, I saw. Another one with the health department. I just wonder, are we doing a good enough job in informing them? If we would just inform them that we want our citizens to know about it. It's good for us to know, good for us to have the money, but the money needs to go where the citizens. Are there any other question, about the budget amendments? We have it at our next meeting. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And next, I will be presenting the monthly financial report for the month of August. The rule of thumb for cumulative spend was to stay below 16.7% for expenditures. I will start with the general fund at 7.1 million or 19%. I would like to elaborate that this is higher due to the 1.5 million that was paid to Northampton County Schools. The Department of Social Services, 1.2 million at 17%. And they do have a blanket PO that is for 375,000 annually towards transportation. The enterprise fund is $304,798 at 0%. Garysburg Water and Sewer, $56,730 at 7%. And last, we have solid waste at 2.4 million at 86%. And I would like to elaborate that this percentage is higher due to a blanket PO that's issued for the curbside pickup. And this concludes the monthly financial report for the month of August.
Board members, you got any questions to ask about the county's funds? You need to ask the finance director over there who's keeping up with it, an excellent job and giving us a report every month about how we look financially. Instead of waiting for each quarter, she's doing it every month. See where we are financially. Do you have any questions you need to ask?
Yes, sir. I would like to see if we can have an additional column that shares where we were last year at this time. So that we can kind of compare where we were with the previous year.
Okay. Would you like me to, I can add a column in month over month. Would you like it to each month presented that way, month over month? Just have it for you,
That would be
compare.
fine for me. And
Okay.
I would have that as a record each month.
Absolutely. No problem.
Thank you.
Any other board members? Any others? County manager?
Good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing our two newest staff members. And they're presented here today. We have our new fire marshal is Chris Collier. Chris is
So we can see.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Chris is currently with the Woodland Volunteer Fire Department as the chief. Yes, I believe yes, and I'll let you do the talking, but
So nice to meet y'all, especially to be able to formally meet you. It is an honor to be able to serve as a fire marshal. This is something that I have dreamed of doing since I graduated high school. To give you a little background on myself, I'm 36 years old. I live in Woodland, born and raised. That's where I'm gonna stay.
My God, my God.
Yes, sir. I have worked with the sheriff's office here 12 years since 2011. I served as deputy, sergeant, lieutenant. Last rank was a patrol captain, where I was supervisor of all of the patrol deputies. I've been on the fire department and in the fire service for 19 years. Through those years, I've gotten a whole lot of training. I've tried to go to everything I could to better myself and helping the citizens. Ever since I graduated my whole adult life, I have committed myself to serving the citizens, my community. That's something I want to continue on doing. I look forward to working with you all. And if you need anything, please feel free to call. I'm just a phone call away.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We're glad to have you back home. Glad to have you here with us. Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
Good people are hard to find.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all very much.
Congratulations on a dream realized.
Yeah.
Ma'am, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Correct.
Yeah.
thanks very much, Chris. And then the second person we have here tonight is Derek Bennett. He is our new Economic Development Commission Director. Derek, if you wouldn't mind coming up and just telling us a little bit about yourself.
No, I was going to speak tonight. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
Glad to be here. I was born and raised in Garysburg. My family is here. So young man, I've been kind of around the state. I spent some time with the state of North Carolina, working for the Banking Commission. Spent quite a few years in corporate America, working for Truist, and did quite a few projects in Wake Forest and Granville County for some of their developments there. So my roots are here. I've invested quite a bit here in Northampton County, so I'm glad to be back and looking forward to making progress. So,
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Glad to have you.
Glad to have you, yes.
Now Fountain County people in the house. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, continue on.
That's all I have for tonight. I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for coming out as I normally do. We do appreciate you all coming and showing your support and your interest and your concern. And it really shows that you care about your county. And we thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you. To our county manager, I want to thank you, county manager, for all the hard work that you're doing. You have some awesome responsibilities to some things that I didn't do while I was in that seat for a little while. You have taken on and you are doing an excellent job. I just want to say thank you, personally, thank you for carrying on, doing those kinds of things that we need to do for the county. But we do know that we are looking for highly qualified people to work in the county. If you do it for any person, we got many jobs still opening in the county. All you gotta do, look on our website, you'll see it. Please, qualified, and if you're willing to learn, please come join us in Northampton County. I was just in a meeting in Raleigh where everybody's having the same problem with personnel. And one of the things that I heard in that meeting, and I got to share it with you, gotta grow your own. You got to grow your own. If you got anybody in your county that you can get them qualified, certified, we need to do it in our counties because people come here for experience, then they're all gone. And we need to start, and I tonight is just a fine example of that, of bringing people home who can work in our county to make our county better. So I just want to commend you, county manager, again for doing that, for bringing these folks. Thank you.
If you don't mind, Commissioner, I would just like to commend our staff for the staff that works. You're only as good as the staff that you surround yourself with. And I would put my staff up with any staff in any other county. So I appreciate the hard work that they come with and deliver to the county each and every day. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You know who I'm talking to. Thank you.
I'll be quiet after this, but then I meet likewise. The number one position in the state, finance office. Everybody is looking for a finance person. I want to commend our finance person for all the hard work that you're doing. I want to commend you too, county manager, for recruiting her and have her come to Northampton County. Every county around us looking for a finance person. And if you're not looking for one, I mean, they're looking for one, and you got someone in there who just in there for a while and just, I guess, might be making a mess, but they in there. But at any rate, I want to say that businesses, counties, school systems, everybody looking for finance office. So if anybody interested in making sure you got a job, all you do get certified in finance accountants, I believe you have a job. I just want to say again, we are fortunate that we here tonight and we got a finance officer. I know what I'm talking about because that's what everybody's talking about. Hereford County looking for one, I believe was one county. A lot of folks looking for finance. Okay, at this time. Yes, yes. We'll make, maybe, we'll make some comments. I'm Mrs. Taylor, Commissioner Taylor, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I also, we attend the state meeting. If you want to say anything about the state meeting, feel free to do so. Anything that you want to say to the.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. I had the honor and the privilege to attend the first North Carolina Commissioners Conference in Raleigh on last week with my colleague, Commissioner Tyner, the county manager, Miss Atia Robinson, and Miss Walker. What a wonderful learning experience it was, as I got a chance to collaborate with people across the state. When I introduced myself to everybody, I said, I am Melvetta Broadnax Taylor from Northampton County, the best place in North Carolina to live and thrive. I let them know who we were, but what a great learning experience for me. And I only had the honor to attend because you all put me here. As my daddy would say, if you see a turtle on a pole, he has some help. And I had some help in getting to that conference last week. And because of you, I was there. I didn't get there by myself. Also, let me tell you all, we're doing some big things in Seaboard. On September the 16th, the town of Seaboard and the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources presents the Highway Historical Marker Dedication Ceremony of Dr. Nicholas Franklin Roberts Sr. He was an African-American and the first president of Shaw University. And that day, Attorney Michael Ray will be there, U.S. Representative Don Davis, retired Judge Chief Alfred Quashipi, Dr. Paulette Dillon, the president of Shaw University, Delegate Marcy Price, the great-granddaughter of Dr. Roberts, U.S. Representative Bobby Scott, Dr. Roberts' great-grandson, and yours truly, Commissioner Melvetta Broadnax Taylor, will also be in attendance. So I'm inviting everybody to come on out that day as we bask in pride to have this historical marker in Seaboard, North Carolina. And thank everybody tonight for coming.
Thank you. You sound like your daddy.
I can't help that.
Commissioner Martin.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I'd also like to make one comment on the CAFOs that he presented. I just want everybody to understand those regulations are set by the state and the federal government, and those permits are issued by the state, and we don't regulate them. So we appreciate everybody's concern, and we have concerns too, but we're not the reason they're here, and we don't have any authority over the regulations and oversight of them. So if you got problems with them, talk to your state representatives. But thank everybody for coming tonight.
Commissioner.
Good evening, everyone. First, since you brought that up, the Rich Square Playground is looking amazing. I kind of kept sending some nudges, and our county manager and assistant county manager kept communicating back with the playground staff, installation staff, to make sure that we were trying to shoot for kids on the playground Labor Day weekend. But we had to make sure that everything was set. The the safety mechanisms that the concrete was set in before the kids got on it. So it was a few days later, but the caution tape came down. We just would like to ask all citizens to make sure that the children are supervised by an adult and that you adhere to all the safety precautions. There should be some signage coming in just to remind everyone. One thing that in my research, now I don't care if it's 100 degrees outside, you're going to pass someone with a hoodie on. I don't know why. They will have hoodies on in 100-degree weather, but hoodies on playgrounds are very unsafe. So if the children are playing on the playground, make sure they take those hoods off, the hoodies off, because the strings can get caught in there and it could cause life-threatening situations for the children, especially if they're not being monitored. These devices in the hands of a parent on the playground is not monitoring the children. So we want to make sure that you're out there, you're actually paying attention for the safety. One thing I always say is a playground is a place for a child to be a child, to make friends, and to learn how to function with people who are oftentimes not like them, whether that's their physical abilities or whatever. They meet some of everyone on the playground. So I'm just happy that the citizens in Rich Square, the youngest of them, have somewhere to go. And then the walking track and having a safe fence around it, so that if that, and they said that's not even the mama bear, that's one of the baby bears that we've seen the picture of, that there's bigger bears out there in the city limits. So I just couldn't imagine walking on that nice track and having just had a knee replacement or hip replacement and then meeting that baby bear on there. Yeah, it's going to test that hip really bad, really fast. So I'm glad that then gives a safe space. We're looking for more activities on the inside. We know as it gets colder that people that were walking outside, and even some days like today, that you're not able to be out there. So we're excited about the community. It's not just for the Rich Square community. And so if you want to come by and you're live in a different community in Northampton and you want a place to bring your children to play, that maybe the one in your area is full all the time, you might want to have another little spot. We'd love to have you over there, and I'm sure the businesses in the Rich Square Woodland community would love to have you stop by and buy some gas or something. The next thing I have is the Fall Festival, Fall Fun Fest is what it's called, on Saturday, October 21st. And this is coming from the Cultural Arts Committee on Saturday, August 21st, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the historic Courthouse Square. There will be booths and various different things that are going on during that time. If you were out there, I said there will be, they're checking into a bounce house for the tourism division. Is going to help pay for that, and trying to get some more things. So if you're interested in something for your family to do on October 21st during that time, you can visit other places and then come back by. That's available for you there. There's a lot of other things going on. The quilt reception, Thursday, September 14th from 6 to 7:30. That is at the Visitor Center. So the county quilt reception will be there at that time. So a few other things, a barn quilt that they're working on. That they weren't able to present it at the last meeting, so they will have that available for us the next time. So we're excited about the things for recreation that are available for our citizens. We talk about getting more people here and having things for the people who come to our communities to live, for them to do with their families is important. So thank my fellow commissioners for sticking with us on that project in Rich Square, and those who have dedicated their time for that. We're appreciative. So
Thank you. To all of you who are listening in, to those that are here tonight, thank you for coming and supporting the county commissioners. I want to say to my colleagues, you are the best. I cannot say anything about the people we have working with on our county commissioner. As county commissioners, we don't worry each other. to death, but when we need each other, we're there. And we just trying to do things openly so everybody can see what we're doing. We do thank you, county commissioners, for all the work that you do. Along with working on the job, you got to punch a clock every day and still do this work. You got something on your hand. I just want you to know, thank you for all that you do. And to the citizens, I want you to know these, as county commissioners, we are committed to do whatever we can to make Northampton County better. If you got any ideas, you can give them out to us. Don't say we're gonna do them, but at least we're open. At least we're open for any ideas that you might have. We also want you to know that we're further investigating how we can make Northampton County better. Can't say much about it now, but it's coming. Some news are coming to us in the next 2 to 3 weeks about things that's gonna make a difference in Northampton County, Halifax County, Hereford County, all of us down in this area. Some things are really gonna take shape. We're waiting for the General Assembly to finish meeting. That's what we're waiting for, folks. Waiting for the General Assembly. As soon as they finish meeting, we hope that Northampton County will come out glowing again. You see a courthouse that's down there. And by the way, at our next meeting, we shall have for you the time of the cutting the ribbon at the courthouse. We shall also have a time for you for the groundbreaking for the housing project that we're going to do. We just got to get a proposal out, newspaper for developers to come in and to help us with it. But we plan for those 2 projects to be on go. Likewise, we're waiting. We're hoping next 30 days too, am I right, County Manager, on the building that we're going to place next to the courthouse. That's not all you're going to see. That's going to be a beautiful place. That courthouse, the other building we're going to put there will house all of our other services that we provide in the county. And then we will you'll be kind of a one-stop center. You go to, you got to go to court, you go there. If you got to go to rest of these, you can go there. You got to go to tax office, you can go there. It'll all be there. And this, I mean, the new building coming up, it's going to be really just looking similar to the courthouse. It's going to be really nice. That's been given to us again through a grant of $5 million for that. So we're looking forward. Maybe at our next meeting, we have more concrete information on when those developments will take place. So stick with us. We're doing everything we can to provide the best Northampton County that we can provide. It hasn't been easy, but we're doing it. And we're thankful to you all, the citizens. Tonight just been a good night for me because I've heard so many of you all said thank you. You know that's something you don't hear a lot anymore. It's always now, I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. But tonight we've heard some folks say, even new people come and work with. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to work in the county. I mean, you can't ask for any more. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I just want you to know we're working hard to make sure that we do everything we can to uplift this great Northampton County. Bread and bone, and Ron would say, going to be dating buried right here in Northampton.
That's right.
That's right. That's what he said. All of us. Thank you again. All staff members who are listening, thank you for all the work that you're doing, how you're working with our county manager. We want everybody to work together. And county manager, when they don't, you know what to do, but we want to all work together. Thank you, attorney, for us when we bothering you. Because we want to make sure we're legal in everything we do. We want to make sure that because we know that there are people who want to say we've done something not legal, but I want to say thank you, county manager, county attorney for keeping us legal. Thank you again. At this time, board members, in other comments, in other remarks, from a board member? Any other? If not, attorney, just for one moment, attorney. On this. At this time, we're gonna ask you to give us a motion that we can go into closed session at this time. Just have one item.
Make a motion, we go into closed session for General Statute 143-318.11A3, attorney-client privilege.
Have a second?
Second.
Proper second, the move proper second, that we go into closed session according to the numbers he's just given us. In the question and discussion, all in favor, the known by usual sign aye.
I brought next Taylor.
Faulkner.
Aye.
Aye. As have motion is carried. Thank you.
No, we don't make it.
No, we